888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil, Chris, and Pat with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back into Sports Talk here on Sports Talk Media Network. A brand new week, and we resumed the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. This is the official kickoff because we always come first to the school in our state with more members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame than all the other state schools combined. Not one, not two, not three, but four in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, none other than South Carolina State University. Oliver C. Dawson Bulldog Stadium is where we are located tonight. The Bulldogs have already practiced earlier today. We will have, yes, Buddy Pugh is still here. Let me say that one more time. Buddy Pugh is still coaching at South Carolina State, despite all those times when he was going to retire. He is still here and still winning games. And been paying attention. The last 7 times the Bulldogs have hit the football field in a game, they've won 6 of them. 3-1 in the spring, and then in 2019 fall, they won their last 3 games. So they've been playing some good football. We'll have Coach Pugh at 7:05, followed by his starting right guard, Jalen Page, out of Wilson, big senior coming out of Wilson, and linebacker Jablonski Green from Lamar. Love State, love the fact that they got mostly local kids playing for them, suiting up for the Bulldogs and continuing the tradition of great success in this program. They are the preseason favorites to win the MEAC. However, 7 of their games are on the road. Only 4 at home. 4 at home, 7 on the road, including a trip to Clemson and a trip out to New Mexico. So they're making it hard for themselves, but they got to chase that almighty dollar, that's for sure, to help fund things around here. By the way, it was a pleasure driving up from Columbia and listening to our relatively new affiliate here in Orangeburg, which I better not say too much. WPJK, AM and FM, excellent signal on the FM dial, 92.9, as you're heading up or down I-26 through the Orangeburg area. And that's a radio station affiliated with the university. And you might imagine they'll be affiliated with the football team in some form come this football season. So we're just very happy to be here. We hope you had a great weekend and maybe got some of those chores done as your Saturdays are starting to run out. Not too many more to go before we'll be kicking it off and being caught up in all the football action. And, of course, once it gets here, it just flies by. You know, September 4th, or in the case of Coastal, September 2nd, in the case of Citadel, September 2nd. And then before you know it, it's Halloween. And then you're hitting November, and you're looking forward to those rivalry games and then championship games and bowl games, and it's all over. So we are here and ready to participate, not in this sprint that is football season. It is a marathon, though it goes quickly. It's a quick marathon, I guess, as you can say, kind of like the marathon that the gentleman from Kenya ran at the Olympics the other day. That was quite impressive. Speaking of the United States, the Americans, congratulations to us for winning the Olympics. That's pretty cool. Most gold medals and most overall medals. Congratulations to Dawn Staley and Asia Wilson representing the USA and the University of South Carolina on the women's basketball team. Undefeated for life in that competition. That's pretty cool for an organization. Undefeated for life. And Dawn Staley, who has coached her last Olympic game, she says, walks away from her Olympic career undefeated in all aspects, as a player, as an assistant coach, and as a head coach. So that is pretty cool. Chris Bergen joining us from Bergen Manor over in the PD, and Pat Daniel is at our studios in downtown Columbia. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. Also tonight, we'll hear USC had a media session this morning after practice. They brought in some offensive players. Among those who came in to speak, Kevin Harris, the running back, who said he has not been cleared for practice just yet. You know, he had a little procedure on his back in the summer. So they have not cleared him yet, though he says he will be ready to go this fall. Don't worry. He's ready to tote the pigskin when they allow him to do so. Jalen Brooks was in. Josh Van was in. We'll hear from Jalen Brooks. He had some interesting stuff to say. You know, he came in with a lot of hype, even though he was transferring from an FCS program, Tarleton State, here to an SEC program, and he got off to a rough start. Dropped some passes, was not the sure-fingered receiver that folks thought he would be. And he said he really just never got comfortable last year. He never really had that confidence. He's got it now. I suspect he's going to be a star kind of player for South Carolina this coming season. And Clemson is wrapping up practice as we speak. Dabo Swinney's going to talk to the media in a little bit, and if all goes well, we'll bring that to you in our final half hour tonight. So we are loaded, Mr. Bergen. I hope you had a great weekend as you watch the Olympics come to a close. Maybe you watched a little NASCAR. Kyle Larson continuing to dominate on the NASCAR scene as well. A little Major League Baseball. The Braves are second place in their division now, trying to
MEAC and coming off their spring schedule, which was so condensed after the MEAC decided because of COVID we'd not play. And so SC State and Delaware State were pretty much left to their own doings. And fortunately for them, they were able to, as I mentioned before, cobble together, I don't know a better way to phrase it, cobble together a 4-game schedule. And SC State looked great after they sort of got into the flow. And Buddy Pugh was telling us a couple of weeks ago up in Greenville at the Coaches for Charity Gala that he felt like after game 1 or 2, they started to hit their stride, and then lo and behold, the season ended for them. So I'm sure they are chomping at the bit, the players that were on that team last year, to get an opportunity to go full bore this year. Now they've got a pretty tough one in game 2 of the year for them, as they'll get Clemson on the road. But otherwise, I think they're you look at some of the FCS programs around our state, and gosh, I'm thinking South Carolina State may end up being the best of the bunch. We'll see how it unfolds. You brought up a great point, though, about the Olympics, and I did catch bits and pieces of it throughout the past 14, 17 days, and especially with the U.S. women's basketball team, which is by far the most dominant team that we send over there. Forget the gymnastics team, forget the men's basketball team. The ladies get it done when they step on the floor. So an interesting story today, Phil, and I wanted to get your take on this with regards to the low ratings for the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Now, the first story I read was from Fox News. So take this for what it's worth, because their narrative was the politics being mixed inside of sports. And I think most of us are tired of that. I'm not a big fan of the cross section of getting politics involved in sports, but they felt like that was the big reason as to why the Olympics are off nearly 50% in terms of ratings that they've had in the past couple of ones in London and most recently in Rio. I think the biggest problem, and NBC is going to have to deal with this when the Winter Games come up in Beijing later on this year, is the time difference. Mm-hmm. I mean, can you imagine for a moment if Clemson and Georgia played that Saturday at 7 o'clock in the morning, but television didn't run it until 8 o'clock at night? How many people would actually not find out the results? Although you can't tape delay sports anymore. And to me, I think that's the biggest issue. And I don't know how they fix the problem. But if NBC and they're actually having to give additional bonus spots to their sponsors because of the low ratings, I think that's their biggest issue. And I don't know how you fix that problem, because you can't tape delay. If I already knew before I went to bed how the results were going to play out when you ran it for me at 7 o'clock the following night, I'm not sure I'm tuning in.
Well, now I'm going to be honest with you. You know I'm a big Packers fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've heard that once or twice.
Yeah, I have been known. And this is, I mean, I'm not trying to be a hero or anything here, but I mean, there's been times, because I watch every Packer game, every snap. There have been times when I've been forced to do something else, like, family birthday party or maybe a funeral or, something interfering with the Packers. And so grudgingly, I've gone to these things and I've recorded the game. And what I've done, it takes discipline and it takes help. I shut off my phone and I don't listen to the radio. I do nothing nothing. I go into a cocoon, and then I come home, and I get away from everybody, and I go watch the game like it's live, and I treat it like it's a live game. Same reactions, same emotions, same
All
outbursts,
right.
same profanity, just like it's live. So I mean, you can do it, but I get your point. It's a
Yeah.
problem. It's a problem. Now with me, I watched the over the 2 weeks. I watched it on and off, and because I wasn't really paying close attention, I wasn't following the news on Twitter. When I watched something on NBC, even though it wasn't live, it was live to me because I didn't know what had happened. So,
Sure.
um, but you're right. They're going to face that same situation. I don't know if politics turned people off from not watching it, for whatever reason, but there were a lot of great storylines, and we had a lot of South Carolinians
Mhm.
in one way or another involved in the Olympics and winning medals for the United States and for other countries as well. So that was quite good. Um, we're getting some information here from TigerNet on Clemson's day. Today must be the day for famous people to show up at football practice. Michael Vick
I saw
was at
this.
South Carolina practice today, and he and Beamer are very very close friends. Obviously, they were teammates back in the
Understandable.
day. Back in the day at Virginia Tech, and they've remained very close friends. Darryl Strawberry was at Clemson today.
And Charles Barkley.
And Charles Barkley, that's right. A couple of special guests, reading David Hood here, were at Clemson today. Darryl Strawberry and Charles Barkley. Barkley spoke with the team before leaving, and Strawberry spending 2 days on campus and will speak with the team on Tuesday. So that's pretty cool that you're getting those kind of people in to talk to your team. Here's a note here, too. Running back Mikey Dukes has not been on the practice field. And according to David Hood, he's not in the transfer portal. He isn't injured. He isn't on the COVID list. Sweeney could have some more insight on that tonight. Mikey Dukes out of First Baptist, a terrific high school player on the Skeezer ranks in South Carolina, ran for a bunch of yards, but he's out of his element at Clemson. I mean, they've just recruited over him with much better players. He was really never going to be a factor at Clemson, and obviously that's turning out to be the case. And I don't know if he's thinking of going somewhere else to have a chance to play ball or just what's going on. But, he's just been passed over by the great players they've brought through there.
No question. And you're right. As in terms of top level running backs in our state, regardless of whether they played in the public schools or SCISA, Michael Dukes was one of those guys. But in terms of, you've got to be the elite of the elite right now to be able to get on the field at Clemson. And Michael Dukes is a very, very good running back, and I think will be a nice addition to somebody's roster. It's just not going to be Clemson's. And my guess is he's probably at this point in time thinking about his next option to move on when he's been obviously way past on the depth chart by all the talent Clemson has brought up there.
All right, we've got some time for your phone calls if you want to join us after the break. 888-898-2225. South Carolina.
After dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Player practice Is with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit maincoursesc.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
It's officially summertime in South Carolina. And whether you're heading to the beach, lake, or pool, be sure to include a bag of boiled peanuts. Did you know that boiled peanuts are South Carolina's state snack? Peanuts pack a lot of protein, and they're good for your heart. Buy some today at your local grocery store or roadside stand. Brought to you by South Carolina's peanut growers. Visit aboutpeanuts.com for delicious peanut-based recipes.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut of Sports Talk here with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. What words of wisdom do you have for those hitting the water this summer?
Phil, collisions can be prevented easily if every vessel operator fulfills three major responsibilities. One, practice good seamanship. It's the responsibility of every boat or PWC operator to take all necessary action to avoid a collision. Two, keep a proper lookout. Failing to keep a sharp lookout is the most common cause of boating collisions. And finally, maintain a safe speed. Remember, boat safe, boat smart.
We are back on Sports Talk on this Monday night Palmetto Pigskin Tour. We are at South Carolina State University. Tomorrow night we'll be at Newberry. On Wednesday at Presbyterian. I call this the I-26 corridor version of the Pigskin Tour. So State tonight, then we go up 26 to Newberry, then a little bit more up 26 to PC on Wednesday. Looking forward to all of that. And, of course, as we talk about things from over the weekend, Chris, nothing bigger than the passing of Bobby Bowden, which we kind of had a feeling on Friday night when Terry Bowden put out the word that he was taking a leave from ULM to be back home with the family, and so kind of had a feeling that was an indication that the end was coming. It's still, very sad when it does come. 91 years old, and I mean, he was everything everybody has said about him is true, iconic, legend, et cetera, et cetera. And the few times I was around him after ball games, I always enjoyed just sitting back and listening to him, or at media events, preseason media events, enjoyed listening to what he had to say because, he was folksy, he was humorous, but he always found a way to beat you, that's for sure, and always had great players. The rivalry he had with Spurrier was fantastic back in the day, the Free Shoes University thing that Spurrier came up with. I mean, look, he had his controversies too. He wasn't clean Gene over there in Tallahassee. He had his warts as well. Pretty much all of them do, but certainly goes down as one of the all-time greats and well remembered by the college football fraternity around the world.
Phil, I was looking at some of the statistical information on Bobby Bowden after his passing. Obviously, you were able to get everything sort of in a resume form from him, and I'm not sure what impressed me more that I had forgotten about. Not just the fact that he dominated the ACC once they stepped in there, but he had 33 consecutive winning seasons at Florida State and 40 overall as a head coach. That was really impressive. But I think the more impressive thing, especially as we sit and try and look through the forest for the trees right now and see what Nick Saban has accomplished and is currently doing at Alabama, same for Dabo Swinney. The fact that he had 14 straight years in which Florida State finished in the top 5. I mean, some of the numbers are just mind-boggling that they were able to accomplish at Florida State. And obviously, as his career started to get long in the tooth, the Seminoles obviously started to wane a touch, and then he ultimately retired after 2009. And they, even with Jimbo Fisher and the job he did, I don't think they'll ever be able to get back to that level again. But just the complete dominance that Bobby Bowden had in his career at Florida State is just incredible what he was able to accomplish.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And Jimbo Fisher came in there and won a national championship and did some great things in there with them before, his end came. And now they hit rock bottom and they're trying to rebuild with Mike Norvell. And I mean, when he was at what Florida State's got their backing and their facilities and their money and everything else, their political pull. They are still, even though they've been down for a few years, you better kick them while they're down, because I got a feeling they're going to bounce back. And I think they're going to
Carolina. When I was there, and it still is true, it's a great place to start. So I find it apropos to tell you that as far as this evening, I'm finding out that you're there in the beautiful town of Orangeburg.
Yes.
I got a chance to see the Hall of Fame ceremony on TV. I wish I could have been there. The early part of the spring and summer, I had hoped to be there, but of course things don't always work as planned. So hopefully that old expression, life lasts, you can get a chance to get back up there later. But I can tell you, I'm pretty sure the gentleman there in the PD area, I did get a chance to go visit the location at Broadway at the beach. They have a site there in the Broadway at the beach area. And I'm trying to remember the exact date, but it was in July. It was right around my birthday. Week in the middle of July, it had just opened. And it is an impressive site. So I'm looking forward to getting up there, since I'm pretty sure it's way more bigger than the one there, but it does have a number of impressive memorabilia and history in there. But wanted to just say real quick in regards to the events over the weekend, it was definitely impressive two classes going in. And the key thing that I'm trying to claim it, but at the same time, I don't think Darius has any pressure on getting the contract that he did. The team evidently feels he's an important cog, but the number he wears is 53. And of course, Harry Carson had that number when he was with the Giants. Donnie just got in the Hall, so things work well. We could be adding another number once he does get down the road. But the key thing, what I want to do is tell people across the state and anybody in the listening voice of your audience, consider going to SC State, because you'll definitely have a good chance to represent the state as well as the any professional organization as far as football. We have a number of players playing up in the CFL. So I wanted to put my 2 cents in, and thank you again. And you can ask Coach Pugh, I'm not sure if he's going to want to tell it or not, but how he enjoyed being up there in Canton, and stories that he might be able to tell about Donnie, because I think he was a coach there on the staff, or he may just, I can't remember if it was graduate, however, but they did have their paths run together.
We'll ask that question when he joins us a little bit after 7 o'clock. Thank you very much, Rodney. Good hearing from you. Yeah, it was a heck of a weekend if you're a South Carolina State fan, Chris, between the Hall of Fame induction and Darius Leonard becoming the highest paid linebacker in the NFL. And these are two South Carolina kids. I say kids, one from Whitmire and one from Lakeview. And they both, hit it. Listen, if Donnie Shell were playing in the NFL today, he'd be one of the highest paid safeties in the league. He just came along too soon for the big money. Leonard hit the jackpot at the right time.
And he almost got lost. Now, speaking of Donnie Shell, almost got lost being involved in the Pittsburgh defense, that Steel Curtain defense. But I thought his enshrinement speech was outstanding when he was talking about Coach Jeffries and people telling him, you may not be able to make it in the NFL. And he said, you got to remember the fight in a bulldog. I thought that was really apropos.
Absolutely. Got to hit a break here at the bottom of the hour. We'll continue with your phone calls. We're at South Carolina State, Palmetto Pigskin Tour Stop. Back after this.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast, cooling this evening down to 73 as a low. For tomorrow, look for a 30% chance of an afternoon shower. The high gets up to 91. Much of today will be a nice mix of sun and clouds. Same for Wednesday with 92 as our high. We're in the low 90s as our high temps all week long. Best chance of rain is Thursday. Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather.
Is that crack in your windshield or your house bothering you?
Have you been meaning to have it replaced but just can't find the time?
Call Absolute Glass, voted Lexington's best glass shop for 12 years in a row.
We repair and replace glass on all makes and models.
We're the only local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands, and we'll come to you to make the process quick and easy.
With new technologies and vehicles, we can recalibrate your vehicle back to new.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com to learn more about our auto, home, and business glass services. Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A federal judge who declared the earlier nationwide moratorium on evictions illegal is deeply skeptical of the Biden administration's new order, but says she may lack the power to do anything about it. U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich on Monday promised a decision soon in an effort by Alabama landlords to block the moratorium imposed last week by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which it said was based on the spread of COVID-19's Delta variant. Friedrich suggested the administration was engaging in legal gamesmanship, but she noted her hands may be tied by a ruling by the court above her. On Wall Street, the Dow was down by 106 points. The Nasdaq, however, rose 24. The S&P 500 lower by 4. Oil down $1.80 to $66.48 a barrel. This is SRN News.
Let's see. Have you walked around your own home lately? I mean, it is your most valuable financial asset. Have you spotted any cracks in the home's foundation? Now, if you have, don't panic. You call TerraTech instead. Why am I so comfy recommending TerraTech? Well, they check off all the boxes that matter to me. First, they're local. They're family-owned in the Midlands for more than 38 years. More than 10,000 homeowners, just like you and just like me, have trusted TerraTech to restore their homes. TerraTech combines their collective experience of over 150 years of professional service in the foundation repair industry, along with utilizing state-of-the-art products and solutions. TerraTech fixes foundations. They also repair or build retaining walls. They install French drains, and they offer free inspections and repair quotes. They stand by their work, and they can be trusted with protecting your home. And hey, if you don't want to take my word for it, they're also A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Find them online, TerraTechInc.com, or call TerraTech 791-8888.
This is Jeremy
and Courtney Sweet, your hosts on the Home Advocates, where we try to help you make your home a safe, healthy, and happy place to be.
Tune in Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. right here on 100.7 The Point Radio.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Not a 36 old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your
starting right guard Jalen Page, all MEAC last season. He's out of Wilson High School. And linebacker Jablonski Green, who hails from the beautiful town of Lamar. Boy, I tell you, Lamar, next to Latta, might be the most athletic town in South Carolina when you think about it. I mean, look,
I understand you wanted to be provincial here, Phil, but let's be honest. There is no greater athletic town in our state, especially when it involves putting people into the NFL than Lamar.
Well, yeah, I'm probably exaggerating when I throw the Latta in there. Though, you know what? We've had Major League Baseball players. We've had NBA players. And I'm trying to think. Have we had an NFL player from Latta? I'm not sure. Nothing comes to mind. We've had college players. But no, we can't. You can't hold a candle to Lamar when you talk about for example, Levon Kirkland, number one, right? I guess he'd be number one. Not just NFL people, but you're talking about a lot of college players who've gone to many different colleges over the years coming out of Lamar. So Lamar has been a hotbed. Tommy Suggs, of course, came from Lamar. Tony Shaw, the basketball player, went to South Carolina, came from Lamar. State's had several players from Lamar over the years. Yeah, that place has really put out the athletes. A couple of quick notes. We'll get back to your phone calls. A couple of lines are open, 888-898-2525. Later, besides the folks from State, we'll hear from South Carolina wide receiver Jaylen Brooks and also from Clemson coach Dabo Swinney. Our poll question of the week. Last season, Gamecock running back Kevin Harris rushed for 1,138 yards on 185 attempts in 10 games. What will he rush for this season? The possible answers are over 1,500 yards, 1,200 to 1,500 yards, 1,000 to 1,200 yards, and under 1,000 yards. I'm putting my vote in for 1,200 to 1,500.
Really?
And what do you say?
I'm thinking just because of the addition of Marshawn Lloyd, I don't know that Kevin Harris is going to get enough carries to reach that 1,000-yard plateau. So I would actually vote under 1,000. Plus, keep in mind, the Gamecocks don't get Mississippi on the schedule and their porous defense, which he just shredded a season ago.
Yeah,
so I'd actually say a little bit under 1,000 for those two reasons. But most notably, if Marshawn Lloyd is healthy throughout the year, I think those guys end up splitting carries as opposed to Harris, as he was last year, being the workhorse for them.
Well, I can think of 4 games combined where he might rush for about 500 yards total just in those 4 games. You know, when you think about Eastern Illinois, East Carolina, Vanderbilt, and who's the other one? Troy. Yeah, I mean, and then, you pick up 700 yards here or there. Pat, what do you think? You think Harris will better what he did last season or do a little bit less?
Well, I think with the addition of Marshawn Lloyd, it would make sense that he would do a little bit less. That doesn't mean that he won't be as good as he was last year. It just seems like the carries will be split more evenly. If Lloyd is as good as advertised, there's no way he's not going to dig into Harris's production at least a little bit. But with the same token, we're yet to see a proven quarterback to wide receiver combination going on. We don't really know what to expect on the outside. It is also reasonable to assume the Gamecocks run it a lot more. So even if Harris's numbers are down, I don't think they'll be down much.
All right, very good. The other major note we should touch on here from over the weekend, then back to your phone calls. The story out of the University of Georgia, Scott Cochran, their much ballyhooed strength and conditioning coach who left Alabama to go to Georgia to have a more hands-on role with them. And on the field, I guess he became the special teams coach over there at Georgia, special teams coordinator. He's taken a leave of absence, and Will Muschamp is taking his spot as the 10th assistant coach for Georgia. So Will Muschamp will coach special teams and be able to recruit on the road for Georgia while this is taking place. So there you go, Will Muschamp. You know what? He's got to be the luckiest man alive. Next to, I always thought that Tim McGraw was the luckiest man alive. Tim McGraw grew up the son of a famous major league pitcher and is a great superstar, married to a really hot babe superstar. That's a pretty good life. I'm sure he's had some things in his life that weren't great, but that's pretty good life right there. Will Muschamp. I mean, think about it. Everywhere he turns as a head coach, he gets fired, but he walks away with more money than he ever had before. And then, highly coveted as an assistant coach, gets well paid at every stop along the way as an assistant coach, a coordinator, and goes to Georgia. You think he's going to be in the background breaking down film and coaching the coaches, as they say. And here he is now. He's going to be able to work with the players on the field and go out and recruit.
Well, I think Kirby Smart probably fell into that with regards to Scott Cochran taking a leave of absence, Phil, because you hit on the one reason you'd like to have Will Muschamp on your staff. He's proven maybe that he can't develop players as the head coach. But one thing he's been able to do pretty much everywhere he's been is recruit. And as if Georgia needs another guy to go out and be able to recruit players, they just got an outstanding recruiter that can go out back on the road. I think that's a huge win for Georgia. And I loved your comment about him being the luckiest man in the world. He's not far off if he's not the luckiest on the planet right now.
Absolutely. Could you see him coming back into the state of South Carolina and recruiting?
Oh, my.
You know? You got an update on Cochran, Pat? I thought Pat had something for me.
I'm sorry. I was listening to checking out something with a caller. I apologize. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you guys saw that Georgia actually finally released an official statement about Cochran, just saying, in quote, Coach Cochran is currently dealing with health issues and is taking time to prioritize his mental health and well-being. We fully support him as he takes this time to focus on his well-being. So they did finally actually release a statement. It is something health. They didn't say if it was COVID, if it was directly related to anything in particular, but we obviously hope that he gets well, and Muschamp's going to step right in.
And of course, the first team he will coach against will be his favorite team, the Clemson Tigers. Okay, what goes around comes around.
Okay, what kind of response do you think he would have gotten had this been the Georgia game actually been in Columbia this coming year?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've seen former coaches like Brad Scott come back to Columbia and have to, go through the fans to get to the elevator to get to the press box. It's not a pretty sight.
No, it hasn't gone well.
It is not a pretty sight. Let's go to Andy in Columbia. Next up here on Sports Talk. Hello, Andy. Welcome in.
Good evening, Pat. Good evening, Corn.
Good evening.
Shout out to Coach Buddy Pugh. I'm glad you're going to have him on. Just don't get too breathy tonight, Corn, and give him some time to talk, please.
He'll have plenty of room.
Thank you, sir. I enjoyed listening to him when Chris had him on at the thing in Greenville a week ago. That was a very enjoyable thing, and I appreciate Chris getting him on for me. Two things I wanted to touch base on. The first one's the Olympics. This is what I don't understand. I'm a big sports junkie. So I'm going to get on the computer and I'm going to see the scores. I sure don't, and while they have, the game's going, just an example, the first USA-French basketball game, I think that was on a Saturday. It was in the morning. The game, I'm watching on ESPN, I'm watching the score flashing by. I'm like, oh, hell, I can put it on NBC and watch the game because it says there on the guide, men's basketball. Well, guess what? Men's basketball wasn't coming on for 3 more hours. They were showing some other BS, like I think fencing or something like that. And let me put it to you this way. You have NBC, you have USA Network, you have NBC Sports Network. You also have their Peacock streaming network doing the Olympics. Why can you not show these things live? Then also give them in prime time for the people who aren't available to watch them live. Then I guarantee you their ratings would be much better because people like me and more people like you and like what Chris said, who are internet and social media savvy, really don't give a rat's behind after the fact.
Well, let me say this too. There should be a law. The Olympics, the American Olympic team, when they are in the Olympics, you should not have to pay a streaming service to watch the American Olympic team. Our tax dollars are already paying for them. And now you want to charge us more to watch them on Peacock. I am not buying Peacock.
Peacock was a free stream that you could. Peacock gives you a free option, and
they're trying to lure you in anyway to buy it. So I'm still not going to Peacock. I want it on the big channel. That's where I want it to be.
That's up to you, but that option was out there for free. So what I'm saying is there's enough options out there.
So they
that
weren't
can
charging.
have
They
it
weren't
live.
charging you on Peacock to watch the Olympics.
I don't pay for Peacock. I got Peacock for free.
Well, then I
Okay.
apologize. They are good Americans.
Yes, they are. Okay, so, like I was saying, they got so many options, and there's so many people who watch sports at different times. What difference does it make if you put it in prime time? Obviously, it didn't make a bit of difference because their ratings tanked. Okay, now the other thing I want to ask you about. I've been hearing a lot of things in the past week or two, 3 weeks, 4 weeks regarding the coaching staff, the old coaching staff at South Carolina, and the toxicity there was with the players. I mean, is that true, how bad it was? And if it is, why in God's earth I don't know how Coach Peterson is, but why was Bobo kept on? Because to my opinion, if there was toxicity, a lot of it had to be coming from Bobo and his offensive side, because him and Muschamp were arm-in-arm buddies. I mean, am I wrong about some of this toxicity that has been going around or being spread about what was happening last year?
I mean, and thanks for your phone call. I'm not aware of that kind of, maybe that's message board stuff. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard any former players say anything bad about the former coaching staff, current players or former players. I haven't heard any of them say anything bad about the former staff. I mean, in fact, many of them talk very highly of Muschamp, how they, especially some of the guys who left and went on with their careers, they spoke very highly of Muschamp and how he helped to develop them to get them ready for the NFL. So if that's true, I'm not aware of it. I haven't heard it or seen it. How about you, Chris?
No, I haven't either. That's an interesting question that Andy brings up. I guess the only thing you could read into is what happened with Ryan Helinski and maybe some of the comments that Jalen Brooks made earlier today about not feeling comfortable at all last year, and he's much more comfortable this year. But again, that's trying to put the tea leaves together to come up with some negative narrative with regard to the old staff.
Phil, listen, you were naming all these people that came from Atlanta and the area up there, and you didn't even name Lavinia Cox.
Well, she was a great athlete back in the day.
I'll tell you,
but she wasn't known for her athletic skills, to be quite honest with you.
Well, she didn't have to be. I mean,
no.
She's gorgeous.
That on the radio. You can't talk like that anymore.
Well, I can. I mean, I don't know where I'm at, but talk like that.
I can nod. I'm nodding. I'm nodding.
Not my wedding.
Okay, that's right. You
Okay.
told me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Boy, she
That's
grew
how
up in
I know.
she grew up in a Gamecock family. Now, that would be breaking news to me.
Okay, well, maybe she didn't, but I don't know. That's how I made the connection that she knew my.
I don't think she went to Clem. I don't think she went up there. Yeah.
Well, my wife did go to Winthrop her first year, but there wasn't enough boys up there.
That's probably where the
Boys up
connection was, because when she was in Miss America, she was representing South Carolina, but she was Miss Winthrop, I think, or Miss Rock Hill up there. Yes,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yep. Well, we got to stick to sports real quick. You got a sports thing you want to mention?
Well, no, not necessarily. I just wanted to, back you up because you didn't name her, and she's one of the elite people that was in competition, in the States, and so she was first winner,
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Hey, thanks for the call. And I appreciate that. Yeah, she was a really good athlete in high school, very good tennis player and basketball player too. But she was, like I said, noted for other positive features over the years. So appreciate the phone call there, Bruce. Got to hit a break here on Sports Talk. We'll come back and continue with some calls. We've got Around the Horn coming up. We've got some recruiting coming up after 7 o'clock. Buddy Pugh and the guys from South Carolina State will be with us. Some Dabo Sweeney and some Jaylen Brooks as well, as we give you a very busy Monday edition of Sports Talk.
If you're going to kick off the playoffs, why not do it big?
Green flag is up.
Like Crown Jewel event big. Like 2 races for the price of 1 big. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and NASCAR Cup Series. 2 races, 1 epic Sunday. The playoffs begin at Darlington with the 72nd running of the Southern 500, September 4th through the 5th. Adult tickets start at $50, with kids starting at just $10. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. South Carolina is just right.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
In Irmo, call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171.
All South Carolinians are now eligible for the COVID-19
Dad,
vaccine.
you're going to get the COVID-19 vaccine, right?
Nah, I don't think so.
Why not?
I think the vaccines were made too fast. Who knows what they put in that stuff?
Dr. Johnson, and he told me the vaccines are safe and effective.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dad. I need you to stay healthy. So can we look into the vaccines more together?
Sure. Anything for you, sweetheart.
Visit scdheck.gov/vaxlocator to find a vaccine location near you.
There are many things to like about the Carolinas, and one of those is Founders Federal Credit Union Founders Online. The Founders app and using your Founders cards and digital wallets are just some of the perks you'll have at your fingertips. And with over 30 locations, we're always closed. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com or visit one of our office locations to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Relax with Founders. Our credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk Monday edition from Around the Horn. Catch up on a few of the top baseball items from the States. Saw where the American Legion team finished up its play in the regional there and made a great showing, but is coming back home. Of course, the Braves are making a little bit of a move and other things. Mr. Bergen, what do you have around the horn?
Well, Around the Horn every night here on Sports Talk, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. Alex Satterfield can handle all of your insurance needs in Columbia at 803-749-9171, or Buddy Bridges up in Lawrence County in the upstate office at 864-923-2174. As Phil mentioned, Florence Post 1 American Legion Baseball, the state champions participating in the Southeast Regionals this past weekend, came up a win shy of advancing on. That they lose to Tupelo, Mississippi, 11-3 yesterday afternoon, ending a great season for them, 34-5 overall, with a state title and a regional runner-up. Second furthest a Post 1 team had ever gone in the 90-year history of that program. And again, Gamecock fans, their head coach, Derek Urquhart, former Gamecock standout. Speaking of the Atlanta Braves, if you haven't been paying attention, they are slowly moving up the ladder, and as a matter of fact, have moved to within 2 games of the NL East division lead, held now by Philadelphia. Phil, I don't know what's happened to the New York Mets, but ever since the trade deadline, when they didn't do a whole lot, they've lost 8 of their last 10. They have fallen 2.5 games off the pace now, and they're in 3rd place and fading quickly.
Couldn't be happier
for the Mets. And part of the reason the Braves have been so good, David O'Brien tweeted this out over the weekend from the AJC. From July 7th through August 6th, The Braves relievers had the lowest bullpen ERA, which was 2.72 in the National League, allowing the fewest home runs, just 5. They also had the second lowest WHIP, which whatever that is, the walk to hits and inning pitch ratio, 1.09.
Yeah.
There's so many stats in baseball that no one understands. But the Braves bullpen, which was a sore spot much of the season, Phil, has turned into maybe the best part of their team now.
Surprising with all the injuries they've had and all that.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, quick update on some minor league baseball around the state. The High A East South Division. Greenville can't make up any ground right now on Bowling Green, the Tampa Bay affiliate. The Greenville Drive from the Boston organization, 45-38, having a solid year. They've actually picked it up. They've won 6 in a row, and they play at Bowling Green tomorrow. Maybe a chance to try and cut into that 13.5 game gap that they have with Bowling Green. Greensboro in second place. Meantime, in the Low A East South Division, it has been all Charleston all season long. The River Dogs, 60 wins already, 60-23. They've got an 18.5 game cushion over Myrtle Beach, and those two teams will play tomorrow night over here in the Grand Strand with Columbia and Augusta bringing up the rear. And Team USA baseball over the weekend lost to Japan 2-0 in the gold medal game. So Team USA comes home with the silver in baseball from the Olympics. That's a quick peek around the horn, brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Again, check in with our good friends Buddy Bridges and Lawrence at 864-923-2174. Alex Satterfield has you covered in the Midlands at 803-749-9171.
Okay, after the top of the hour break, we'll have Coach Buddy Pugh, and the two Bulldogs are here. Jalen Page, MEAC last season.
Yep. Hey, I want to tell you, hey.
His wife, I wasn't going to go there.
Hey, you gonna be surprised. You can be surprised you ever see my wife. You'll say, "Dang gum boy, how'd you get that?" I can't tell you the secret. I know y'all get. Hey, but y'all have a good one. I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a great day.
Hey, Tiger Brian. I don't know. I bet you Mrs. Tiger Brian is pretty attractive. Chris, what do you think?
I have no doubt, but I guarantee if she is listening, she is red in the face and extremely upset with Tiger Brian right now for bringing that to our attention here this evening.
She's going to take a switch to his backside.
There's no doubt.
When
he's going to be out there sleeping with the watermelons that he's supposed to bring us here in the next couple of weeks.
All right, we're coming up on the top of the hour break, and we're going to turn our attention to the Bulldogs of South Carolina State preseason MEAC number 1 going into the season. Can they live up to it? As I mentioned, they won a lot of games here in 19 and in the spring of 21. We'll see if they can keep it going. That's coming up next here on Sports Talk.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. Senate Democrats have unveiled a budget resolution that maps $3.5 trillion in spending boosts and tax breaks aimed at strengthening social and environmental programs. Democrats like Washington Senator Patty Murray say human infrastructure is as vital as roads and bridges.
Of course, rebuilding is about more than just infrastructure. We have to build a stronger, fairer country for our workers and our families, too.
But Pennsylvania Senator Pat Toomey says the Democrats' plans for a massive social spending bill are misguided.
$3.5 trillion understates the full scale of that bill. It's very, very bad policy. Very, very damaging to the economy, and I will vigorously oppose it.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has indicated that Democrats will utilize reconciliation to avoid having the bill filibustered in the Senate. A federal judge is expressing doubt about the Biden administration's new moratorium on evictions.
A federal judge who declared the earlier nationwide moratorium on evictions illegal is deeply skeptical of the new order, but she says she may lack the power to do anything about it. U.S. District Judge Dabney Friedrich is promising a decision soon in an effort by Alabama landlords to block the moratorium imposed by the CDC. The judge suggested the administration was engaged in legal gamesmanship to buy time for the distribution of more rental assistance money. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Members of the U.S. military will be required to get the COVID-19 vaccine beginning next month under a plan laid out by the Pentagon Monday and endorsed by President Biden. Top Pentagon leaders said in memos to the troops that the vaccine is a necessary step to maintain military readiness. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said the mid-September deadline could be accelerated if the vaccine receives final FDA approval or infection rates continue to rise. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 106 points. More at townhall.com.
Following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt and I couldn't pay my bills. I was feeling so bad. I got to a point where I needed some help. So I reached out and contacted Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They were able to take all of my different payments and put them all together.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
And they were actually able to work with my creditors. I've been able to pay off close to $15,000 in the last 18 months.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Stephanie, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
More and more judges and unis are requiring proof of COVID-19 vaccination.
who are here with us. We are joined by big right guard Jalen Page out of Wilson High School. He was all MEAC selection last season. And we're also joined by linebacker Jablonski Green from Lamar. So we got a couple of guys from the PD area being interviewed by a guy from the PD area. I'm from Latta, home of champions, if y'all have ever heard of. You heard of Latta, home of champions? So it's good to have them with us, and we'll have Coach with us in just a little bit. I want to welcome the players to our setup here in the press box at South Carolina State. And Jalen, first of all, you look great. I guess you're feeling great and you're ready to play some football.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to this season.
Tell us about camp so far.
Camp has been, a very important thing for us. Getting a chance to work on our skills, work on certain schemes, and be able to put on a good show this season. We have a target on our back, and I feel like we need to go out there relaxed and know what to do so we can fly around and make plays.
How do you feel about what people are saying about you guys? Preseason pick to win it all in the MEAC.
I feel like it's a shock in a way because since I've been here, we've always been picked as underdogs. But this year, it's a different approach. It's a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, you want to go out there relaxed and be able to not worry about all the outsiders, but be worried about, the team and what we're trying to do.
How's the offense look so far?
We look pretty good. I feel like we got a lot of returners, including myself, and being one of the leaders on offense, I feel like, we're headed in the right direction, and the way our coaches have been on us about, the detailed things so that we can win a Celebration Bowl championship. I feel like we're going to make a lot of heads turn this year.
Jablonski, you're on the other side looking at that offense. What do you think of what you've seen from the offense thus far?
They've been putting in a lot of work this off season, including the summer, because we've been here since July. But I've seen a whole lot of progress.
Guys take extra pride in the fact that State has sent forward to the Hall of Fame?
Yes, sir. It's a standard here.
in a short while. He throws the ball well, makes quick reads. So I feel like, being offensive line. While, but the coaches have learned from him that every day we have to get 1% better at something. That's my mindset going into it. Learning a lot from Coach Pugh. Being a math major, so you're pretty smart, and so I want to get better at something every day, whether it's the small things or trying to just help teammates out.
Are you sort of the because you're older and you're a lineman?
Yes, sir.
Are you kind of the overall leader of this team?
Well, I feel like, being here and seeing that I played a lot of football, I feel like, I'm one of the leaders. We got great players on both sides of the ball. I just feel like maybe my voice maybe stands out a little more because, when a guy's played football at a high level for a while, he's seen everything. So, they kind of look at you to say the right thing, say something needed. And also, like I tell anybody, try to lead somebody and show them better than what I learned.
Have you guys started? Alabama A&M is your opener down in Normal, Alabama. Have you guys started thinking about them very much, Jablonski? Have y'all started focusing on them a little bit?
Yes, sir. We've been focused on them since they came here and beat us, So that's been our focus. 1-0 to start the season off. Go down there, do our jobs, and just move on from that.
Payback time. Payback time. Yeah. How about
touchdowns and everything like that. I feel like, some guys have a lot of NFL aspirations, and being taught how to spend that money, save it, and be smart with it is key, because you go to the NFL, money doesn't come with instruction. So having that practice and learning from college should teach you how to do the right thing.
Hey, Jablonski, when he gets his hands on you, how tough is it to shed him?
Nah, he's a very strong person, so I try not to let him touch me every chance he get.
You try to step around him or something?
Honestly, I try to go through him a lot.
Is that right? He's not easy to run through. It doesn't look like it.
He's not.
325 pounds. Guys, we thank you very much for coming up. I know you got a meeting to go to as well.
Yes, sir.
But good luck this season. I hope you stay healthy, win a lot of ball games, win another championship, get to the Celebration Bowl, and have a great year. We appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, the two Bulldogs visiting with us after the break. Buddy Pugh will be here. Thanks to Jalen Page. For those of you watching the stream, he's the big guy on the left. And on the right, Jablonski Green. One from Wilson and one from Lamar. Appreciate you guys coming out. Have yourself a great season. Going to hit a break here on Sports Talk. And the man, the myth, the legend, yes, he's still here at South Carolina State. Buddy Pugh will join us after the break. We'll be right back.
If you're going to kick off the playoffs, why not do it big?
Green flag is up.
Like Crown Jewel event big. Like 2 races for the price of 1 big. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and NASCAR Cup.
Really good football.
We have. We've started to develop a little, I guess maybe confidence on uh, Kendrell Flowers. Kendrell was a Wake Forest transfer, so
Right.
he transferred back in from Wake Forest last fall. Well, the spring. I
Kid
think.
from
Yeah,
Irmo.
the spring, yeah.
Mhm.
And believe it or not, even though he's been in college for 2 years, he still got 4 years of eligibility.
You love that, don't you?
I don't know exactly. Well, it's good if he can. Yeah, but yeah, he actually. And then we got Alex James, who had been at Coastal, who transferred to Albany, who has now transferred back to us, who's also a good running back. And I'm excited. And Ja'Cory Benson has been really good. Ja'Cory Benson played really good for us toward the end of spring. So we got 3 good running backs. So we've upgraded that position a little bit. We think our wide receivers are really good. And we took 3 offensive linemen that were freshmen. Well, one's a kind of a redshirt freshman, but that are really, really good. Eric Brown from Hartsville. I think it's the real deal. And he's a center. And I don't know if you remember, what was Duck's name? Yeah, Raymond Harrison from Columbia.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was the best center that I think we've had here.
Yeah.
All my time here. I think this guy's got a chance to be. And then we got Nick Tace from White Knoll, who's a good young offensive lineman. I didn't really, when you sign these guys, you kind of think they might be pretty good, that kind of stuff. But when he got in here, I said to myself, ooh, that's pretty good. So we got 2 good young offensive linemen going, and then Chris Salmon from over in Sumter County, I think might be our next big time guy. I don't know if he did or not,
Oh,
but
it's
he
way
might.
up there. Yeah.
Right now,
And as a high school
tall
player,
guy,
yeah.
hard nose, can catch the ball.
very personalized care for every dog. They can handle special diets. A happy dog makes all the difference. A Paws Paradise, 550323.
Played for us last year, played for us last core. BJ Davis, and, Chad Gilchrist. So our starters back. But the Jablonski Green guy, is the Trump guy of the whole deal. This guy is going to be really special. I want to try to, figure out how we can get the most out of him. And then last but not least, our young defensive front, we think is going to be pretty good too. We got a bunch of them. Shaheem Haltawanga and Gerard Kirksey has been the starter so far. We got Godbolt from up in Columbia. We think is a good player. Funderburk's the defense inside guy. Darrell Brown. We got a good bit of guys. So, that defensive front, I think will match up pretty good with the people we play. But it's the back end of the whole deal that really should be the leaders.
You got a really good football team.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to question that. But my goodness, your schedule, you got to go to Alabama A&M, then you go to Clemson, then you go to New Mexico State. You don't play a home game till October 2nd. I mean, your road warriors all of September.
FAMU. I mean, you're exactly right. It's a killer of a schedule, and we've almost got to figure out how to beat Alabama A&M. I mean, that's almost like, you come out of that deal 0-3, and you got to then play Bethune-Cookman here. You don't really know what your state of mind is going to be. So you got to figure out how to win a game, somewhere I know in those three. We think Alabama A&M is the one right now that we've got the, best shot at winning. But, those guys had that quarterback, Akil Glass down there, is a guy. I mean, he can throw the hang out of that thing. And they got some wide receivers that can go. So we've got to really we really played them well here, though, for the first 3 quarters of the first half. And then they got a short field. Offensively, we didn't do enough in that game. And I think we found ourselves more after that game. The key for us is to match up with them offensively. If our offense can do what their offense does, then we got a chance to do a little back and forth. But I don't think you can stop them. But at the same time, if we don't do something offensively, then, it won't be much need for us to stop them because they're going to do a little something for sure.
Only 4 home games.
Yeah. But you know what? The home game deal for us, is kind of a misnomer. 2, 3, and 4 on the road.
Yeah.
And then we
Well, right now we only have 15 minutes left to go on the show, right? or
Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Founders is an equal housing lender and is federally insured by the NCUA.
All South Carolinians are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccines. For help finding a vaccine location in your area, visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110. COVID-19 vaccines are free and don't require ID or insurance. Visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110 to find a vaccine location near you.
It's been a trying year for parents. They've been confronted with countless challenges and have always risen to the occasion. If it isn't too much to ask, the 97,000 high school student athletes in South Carolina have one last request.
Please, set an example.
Disorderly fan conduct at high school athletic events is on the rise. It increasingly involves parents. There's no question that parents are passionate. There's no question they care about their children. But at a time when we're all wound a little more tightly than usual, it's worth remembering this about South Carolina high school sports. Always be a good example. Stop unruly fan behavior before it starts.
This message presented by the South Carolina High School League and the South Carolina Athletic Administrators Association.
It is time for the recruiting report here on Sports Talk. And, you know, you heard Coach Pugh talking about going on the road and getting great food. Well, you know, he's a big fan of Seawell's in Columbia as well. When he's in Columbia, I don't want to speak for him, but I guarantee you he's made a stop or two by Seawell's for lunch over the years. You can do the same. The Seawell's Daily Luncheon Buffet, 11 to 2. We speak highly of it because it is very, very good, nutritious, delicious, and if you are ambitious, you can put together quite a nice plate. You can do, a 2 meats and a vegetable. You can do 2 meats and 2 vegetables as much as you want, you know. So go help yourself at Seawell's tomorrow, every day this week, 11 to 2. And, of course, the very best in the catering business, the folks at Seawell's for over 70 years, they have been doing nothing but delivering for the people of South Carolina. 803-771-7385 is the number for Seawell's. So some recruiting notes for you from over the weekend. Murphy Holloway, the stepdad of Dutch Fork receiver Antonio Williams, told us on Sunday, been little movement with Williams and his recruitment over the last few weeks. He did attend the USC Cookout July 31st for only about a half hour because he had commitments at his school. While there, he was able to meet with the Gamecocks 2022 quarterback commitment, Braden Davis. And Holloway told us that how the USC quarterbacks play this season and how the position for them projects for the future, that'll be an important part of Williams' evaluation. He's a receiver. He wants to catch footballs. He doesn't want footballs sailing behind him or over his head. So he wants to see how the quarterback play is going to be. He remains in regular contact with receivers coach Justin Stepp. Clemson receivers coach Tyler Grisham also is connecting with him, but Clemson is not yet offered. Williams has not decided if he'll take more official visits in the fall than the 2 he has scheduled, USC September 24th and Ole Miss October 22nd. If he does schedule other officials, Holloway said they will be with the other schools he visited unofficially in June, Clemson, Georgia, and Auburn. Speaking of Murphy Holloway, by the way, he has an audition with the SEC Network later this month for an on-air position, either in the studio or as a game analyst. I could see him doing extremely well in either role. Linebacker Stone Blanton of Madison, Mississippi, narrowed his list to USC, Mississippi State, Texas A&M in late July, but he said Sunday Ole Miss is also in there, kind of even with Texas A&M for his third favorite. Still planning to visit USC again this fall for a game early in the season. A date has not been determined. He made official visits to USC, Louisville, and Stanford in June. He is certain to take one to Mississippi State in the fall, and Texas A&M is a possibility for one as well. He made unofficial visits in June to Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Auburn, and Louisville. He's hearing regularly from Shane Beamer and defensive coordinator Clayton White. Decision after his fall visits are completed. USC missed on running back candidate Jalen Glover on Friday when he committed to Utah. Another running back that position coach Montario Hardesty is keeping in touch with is Anthony Hankerson of Fort Lauderdale. Hankerson said he last talked to Hardesty about 2 weeks ago, and he told him he planned to get down to see a couple of games this season for further evaluation. Hankerson calls USC one of his top options, along with USF and Arizona State. In June, he took unofficial visits to USC and USF as part of camp stops. He also camped at UCF. He has not scheduled any officials yet. Clemson target defensive end Cyrus Moss of Las Vegas has set an official to Florida for September 18th. He took officials to Oregon and Notre Dame in June and has one set with Clemson for October 1st. He also plans to visit Alabama. Clemson made the top 10 with 2023 running back Richard Young of Lehigh Acres, Florida, ranked number 1 in the class at running back. The others are Miami, Florida, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Florida State, Oregon, Oklahoma, and Southern Cal. He visited Clemson in late June. 2023 defensive lineman Keldrick Falk of Highland Home, Alabama, has Clemson in his top 5, along with Florida State, Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee. He camped at and visited Clemson in early June. 2023 tight end Luke Hayes of Bixby, Oklahoma, committed to the Sooners. He visited Clemson last month. USC's in the top 10 with 2023 safety Elliott Washington II of Venice, Florida. The others are Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Florida State, Florida, Michigan State, Ohio State, Maryland, and Oklahoma. USC was one of his stops in June. And USC basketball offered 6'9" power forward Dominique Barlow of Newark, New Jersey, 3-star, ranked number 27 power forward nationally by 24/7 Sports. Florida, Kansas, Syracuse, DePaul, and Iona are some of his other offers. There you go with recruiting for tonight. Here is a little bit from USC receiver Jaylen Brooks. He was one of the offensive players USC made available to the media this morning after practice. Editor's note, the audio is a little bit on the hot side here. I think we can make it all out and distinguish what he is saying. Questions might be a little hotter than the answers in terms of the sound quality. So we'll make do with what we've got. Here is
Phil. Actually, I think I fixed it. I think it's going to be clear. Was going to surprise you. I didn't.
You
Maybe
have
I should have
little
warned you
faith,
off air.
Phil.
But the
You have
only
little
thing is,
faith.
there may be the little rooster crow at the beginning. I'm not sure if I was able to get that out or not.
All right, go right ahead there with that, Pat.
Jalen, do you sometimes sit back and kind of think about how far you've come maybe over the last year and compare yourself to where you were last year, just getting on campus and not eligible yet, to kind of now where you know your situation going into camp?
I mean, obviously I feel a lot better about this year. I won't have to sit out and I could just go straight from camp into a game.
If he'd read the chat,
But even when I got eligible last year, I didn't feel comfortable or I didn't feel too good about my progress that I made last year. You feel me? But I'm just happy. I've been correcting those things through practice, through spring, through summer. With workouts and stuff like that, and working with the QBs and just being on the same page.
Hey, Jaylen, you mentioned didn't really feel comfortable last year. Just what was that like? I mean, what did you see from yourself after the games? And, was it just the transition coming in? That's what kind of did it?
Yeah, I mean, after the games, you feel sometimes I would feel numb. I feel like I was just out there just to be out there. You feel me? I didn't really feel I was truly playing in a game. I already mentioned before, I wasn't in the best headspace, but I mean, that's still no excuse for not having the production out that I was meant to have. sloppy steak over here, boy.
When you look at this wide receiver room, obviously, I mean, you don't have a veteran guy like Shi Smith, Debo Samuel, those kinds of guys. Do you try to be that guy, maybe take on that kind of role, or how do you view this opportunity with kind of a brand new wide receiver room, brand new coaching staff?
Oh, see, I mean, the thing is, I think that people fail to realize sometimes, like, I mean, DK, Josh Van, Xavier Legette, and myself, like, we are the vets, you feel me? We all been in college for 3 or more years. I mean, obviously, I wasn't playing Division I football 4 years, but, DK and Josh been playing there since they were freshmen. So, and then, like, we get together, like, we figure out what we can do better together as a group and how we can bring the other receivers along. And I feel like this is a great opportunity, like me and DK have been like doing a real good job of just leading the receivers, bringing, and I feel like I'm back in my element where I could go to a freshman, I could bring them up with me, show them the roots and help them dive into playbooks and stuff like that.
How is this offense different for you and the wide receivers than last year's?
I mean, it's still like a pro style offense, so it's not much. It's not terribly different, but like some of the words they still flow together. But I mean, it's still just some concepts. They're pretty much the same concepts, but we might not have as many like like downfield like trick plays and stuff like that. But it's still a simulated NFL offense.
The routes you're being asked to run are basically the same combination of routes.
Yes, sir. Just sometimes like. What's it called? Last year, last year, I was X and Josh was Z. Now I'm Z and Josh is X. So now we're running what he was running last year and he's running what I was running last year. You feel me?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen, you mentioned finding that comfort and kind of sort of that ease with everything. I mean, was there a point either maybe in the spring or this summer or this off season that you really did feel like it started to click, or was there a moment for you that you were like, all right, I got it back now a little bit?
Yeah, that was like obviously like for that for me it was obviously spring. Like I was with the set coaches and now I can build from literally the bottom to the top, and that makes you feel, that builds a lot of confidence in you and like the players around you and the coaches. So, just love just being around that for the summer. I mean, for the spring, just gave me that click. You feel me?
Okay, Jaylen Brooks of the Gamecocks. We'll have more from him and the other Gamecocks up on our website, sportstalksc.com tonight. Same from Clemson, just now getting the interviews out from Clemson. They talked to Uyangalele, they talked to Bress C, and I think they talked to Dabo Sweeney as well. Looking at a few notes here from Larry Williams from Tiger Illustrated. Jack Briningstool, tight end, was not present at today's practice, and nobody knew why. And I guess they're going to talk to Dabo Sweeney here, if they haven't already, about what the deal is there. Also, Bo Collins and Troy Stellato, they were wearing yellow, not practicing. Brennan Spector, he remains out as well. Dealing with injury situation. So we'll get that Clemson stuff up on the website for you as well once it becomes available. Chris, heck of a show tonight from State. We'll be at Newberry tomorrow.
Always is when you get Coach Pugh on the line. He was outstanding. And the two players that they brought up as well were terrific tonight.
They really were. Thanks to Kendrick Lewis and the guys here at South Carolina State for making it so easy. We'll see you from Newberry tomorrow night on the tour. Thanks for being with us. Have a great night.